Okay, so 6, 7 is inequalities, still inequalities, but now we're going to multiply and divide. Okay? So 6, 6 was just adding, subtracting with inequalities. 6, 7 is multiplying and dividing. We are going to do 6, 8 today as well, which is basically taking the two, putting them together with two steps. Okay? So let's start with 6, 7. Real simple. So 8x is less than or equal to 40. You guys should know how to solve these because you solved them with equal sign and it's no different. So we divide by
8.
8.
Yeah.
X is less than or equal to 5. Okay, so you solve it the same way you've been solving with equal signs. Okay, but you write your inequality. Here's another one. D over 2 is greater than 7. Okay. Okay? So then we cross multiply, and we should get D is greater than 14. So the rules don't change, right? You're doing the same thing, you just have the inequality. Any questions? Oh, we'll get them back. Okay, next one. Negative 2g is less than 10. So we still divide by negative 2, right? But now we have to do something. There's a rule. Okay? Something different happens. When you divide or multiply by a negative, you must flip the arrow.
What?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get it.
It's true. We're going to look at it in a second. Write it down first. So if we divide or multiply by a negative number, we have to flip the direction of the arrow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So, and here's why. Some of you are thinking you already can see why this is going to happen, right? When you multiply or divide by a negative, what happens to the other number on the other side? It's going to change, right?
Yeah.
If it's a positive, it's going to become a negative. If it's a negative, it's going to become a positive. So if we're changing that number, that's going to affect the outcome. So we have to change the direction of the arrow. Okay? And you think of a number line, how all the negatives are one way and the positives are the other way, right? Okay? So don't forget to flip the arrow. Now, here's one where you would multiply, right? So we have x over negative 3 less than or equal to 4. So this arrow will flip. This is times negative 3, so now we have x is greater than or equal to negative 12. So you flip the arrow. Only with negatives. So we're going to practice some of these in our book. We're going to look at page 509. 509, 1 through 14. So turn there. Okay. It's still going to be recording, so keep your noises to a minimum, please. Yep. I'm going to do some with you and just some on your own, okay? 1 through 14, 509. Everyone got this written down? Okay, so number 1, this is on 509. What do we have to do here to solve for y? Number 1. Anybody? Just say it. Good. So divide by 6 on both sides. And so we have y is less than
3.
3. Easy, right? Okay, let's do number 2. We have to divide by what? Negative 3. So do we have to follow the rule now?
Yes.
Good. So this is S. Flip the direction. So it's less than or equal to. And then what does this become?
11.
Negative 11. We're not doing equal signs. We're doing inequalities. Because we're doing inequalities.
But why do you have an equal sign?
Okay, raise your hand one at a time, please. Anybody? Okay. It's an S, not a 5. Sorry. Can I move this up now? I'll zoom it in for you guys so you're not seeing S or 5s as S's. Okay, now what about this one? What do we multiply by?
20.
3. We multiply. 3 times 60 is?
120. 3 times 60. 180.
Wow.
Dude, wow, you don't know what 60 times 3 is.
I think if we play this back that people will realize that you didn't either.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, we cross multiply. Cross multiply. Same, to get rid of 3, hold on real quick, someone said why. Remember, to get rid of the 3 on the bottom, we're multiplying by 3 over 1.
Yeah.
Right? So it's the same thing.
But why is it 180?
3 times 6.
3 times 60 goes around 80.
Okay?
But then
15.
why is it equal?
It's not equal.
Oh, why is it less than?
All right, next. Negative 2 times 6. Do we have to switch the arrow?
Yes.
Good.
Oh.
So make sure you make it greater than negative 12.
Oh, I got it.
Okay? Remember, when you multiply or divide by a negative, switch the arrow. Okay, this one. Negative 14 times 4. 14 times 4 is?
56. Negative 56.
Okay?
Or no, positive.
Positive. But we still switch the arrow because we multiplied by a negative. Okay, this one. Divide by negative 8. So that is
Negative?
7.
Positive.
Positive 7. Switch the arrow.
Yes.
Is greater than.
The arrow.
Okay, so I'll say it again. I'll say it again. So, do you notice how this one was a positive and then the answer became a negative?
Yeah.
And did you notice how this was a positive and the answer became a negative?
Yeah.
And this was a negative and it became a positive?
Yeah.
And this was a negative and became a positive?
Well, yeah, so it's not just the answer that has to
Right. It doesn't, the answer doesn't depend on the arrow.
be. Okay. 'Cause
What
that's
happens
what I
is when you're switching signs, right, you have to switch the arrow. So whenever your answer, you notice it went from positive to negative or negative to positive, you need to switch the arrow. But the rule is when you multiply and divide by negative, switch the arrow.
So if
Okay.
I do that on the quiz and don't switch the arrow,
It'll be
would I get
wrong.
it
It'll be wrong.
I'm on.
Okay, so here's what I want you guys to do. I want you to finish, go all the way to 14, okay? 10 through 13 you need to graph after you do the work, but only 4 of them you need to graph, okay? So I'm going to give you about 6 minutes. It's really fast. 6 minutes. Go.